Welcome back, Rented Cars. Oh, actually, let's slow down here. Turn that down. Defending the Hornet, defending my driving ability. I'm not going to. I'm not going to defend the Hornet. I'm really not. If you don't like it, fine. Absolutely. Go somewhere else. I made a video. I posted it on a weekend there on a Sunday. I lost the car, sort of thing. I should actually pull over for this talk. Is there a pullout here? No, there isn't. Okay. How did it all start? I actually don't care if you listen to my driving. I don't give driving advice. I really don't. But I think in that video, where I lost the Hornet, when don't buy a Hornet. I don't want you to buy a Hornet. I really don't. I still really don't. Don't buy a Hornet. I'm on my way from home. I'm on my way home from work, and it's kind of been a long day. I just unloaded too much beef. Somebody donated a cow. I had to unload a cut up cow. Where did it all start? I knew nothing about cars. Whatever POS was in the driveway, I drove it. And thankfully, my parents kept me away from the big V8s, and I ended up with, the four-cylinder things and standards, manual transmissions, and I just drove the crap out of it. I got my first car. My parents know the repair bills, but I bagged the car. I'd like to say it was a four-cylinder, four-wheel. It was mostly on three wheels. I actually had a friend tell me that when he was following me, the car was constantly on three wheels. So I didn't know anything about cars. I started high school, met a bunch of people. They were car people. Because I drove a weird car, and I drove it like a madman at the time, I guess. But we would sit and talk about cars because everybody, some sort of general car thing was happening, and we'd sit in the library. And they're like, hey, you should try this car out. Hey, look at this car. Hey, take a look at this car. Because I had money. I did. And so I was able to, buy and sell cars. And I got the chance to go out and look at these cars that were recommended to me. Fast forward to the future. The story that brings this up, the story that comes to mind. I had a friend. We had been together for a bit, and both of us ended up having money because he worked a job. I had a job, and we had money, and we would go. His parents had a car. I always had something to drive. We would just go out and drive and cruise and look at cars together and buy and sell. So this guy ended up getting into tuning, but he bought a Honda CRX, the second generation, the good one, before they canceled it, right? It was bright yellow. The first thing he did, he had a custom exhaust on. I was with him at Midas when he did it. I was actually with him at every point in this car where he bought something. I I'm actually thinking, like, when I think back on this car and this story, he made sure I was there for every purchase that he made for this car. Because I didn't modify it. I just bought a car and drove it, like in that case. And he's like, "Is this good? Is that good? Is this good?" I remember, the seats. I remember the steering wheel. I remember the exhaust and the thing that he bought off of. There was no Amazon at the time, but he got it in. It was some sort of Momo exhaust thing that you could dial in. Seats were switched out. I remember him buying the full suspension for the car, like the springs and the shocks, to lower it and give it like a real suspension thing. And I went over to his house when him and his brother were. They rented the prong thing to switch them out, and I was there. I was there for pretty much everything that went onto that car. I was actually there also for when he had to go buy tires for the car. He bought it used off a dealership, and he bought rims, and he wanted tires for this, and there were new tires at the time, and they were called Hancooks. He wanted Yokohamas because they're sticky and rubbery and all of that thing, but these Hancooks came out. They were brand new at the time. But I remember the tire guy saying, it's just as good as the Yokohama. However, they do take a little bit longer to warm up. I do remember that. Like clear as day. Clear as day. This is an important part of the story. So we were all hanging out. We all ended. It was kind of an odd thing, but we ended up meeting at this guy's house, and we were all just hanging out. And it was all of us. It was all of us. All my white friends, all my Asian friends, all my car friends, all my non-car friends. Everybody was kind of just hanging out, and we were just because we would all go out to eat. We'd all end up going out to have a good time. You know, go somewhere, do something, and we all got along. Everything was friendly. Night clubbing wasn't a thing. We were still, I don't know, in between that. So we would take over a restaurant sort of thing. And like a friend was a magician. The whole thing. The whole thing. It would turn into a night. But this night, my friend with the CRX actually, I didn't know this, but he felt he was completed on the car. And this was a thing that he did often with me. And it's not just him, but other friends that would build race cars even. But they would say, hey, here's the keys, take it for a drive, tell me what you think. And this was commonplace. So I didn't think anything of it. He's like, hey, finish the car here. Do you want to take it for a drive? And I'm like, yeah, okay, sure. And I knew what I was saying. He knew what he was asking. It was a he was asking me to test the car. You know, he was asking me to test the car. And I just threw out to everybody in the room, like, who wants to go for a ride? And the guys whose house that I was at, that we were all at, he said, yeah, sure, I'll go for a cruise. And I'm like, yeah, okay, jump in, let's go. And I thought he knew what this meant, but he didn't know what it meant. That's a little bit of foreshadowing. But he expected that we go on this cool cruise in this cool car that this his friend built, and we would just go, I don't know, go cruise and talk with chicks or something. So there was, I live in Edmonton at the time, and there's this road called Gro Road, and we used to drive this all the time, even as a bunch of friends, kind of racing sort of thing for fun, and because you can make a circuit out of it. You do the loop at the university, and then there's two overpasses you can do. You can go further for a straightaway to 111th, but you can take the immediate 107th Ave and then come back down and do the loop again, right? We didn't use it often, but we did use it when we really wanted to have fun. And I can't remember. Maybe it was a Thursday, Friday. I don't know. I don't know. But we went for a cruise, and I knew that this car was on the Hancooks, and they took time to warm up, is what the guy said behind the counter. So I took him on the tour. I just wanted to learn the car. I didn't know what transmission was in it. I didn't know a whole lot of things about the car. So I did take it on a long circuit through the city, through the downtown, through things, and he got to look out the window and have a good time, and get to be seen in a cool car at the time. I guess a tuner car. I guess this was before tuning was a thing, right? It was brand new in the magazines, and I was just learning the car. I was feeling it out. I was feeling how quick it took corners. I was how the transmission worked, how the clutch and the gas worked, and like functionally how the car worked. Not doing anything ready for racing or anything like that. I slowly made our way to Gro Road, and I did a full circuit of it because I was actually checking for police, but I was also checking to see how the car responded in the turns. If you are from Edmonton, you know what I'm talking about, or if you've driven Gro Road, you know what I'm talking about. The pavement isn't the best. We'll say that. However, however, you can do it. You can do it. You can do it. You go down, do the circle, you come back up, and there's places that cops hide. And I was checking for traffic. I was checking for cleanliness. I was checking for how the car kind of responded on this road. And he's like, "How come we're doing this twice?" Because I was coming back up. We did it. We went down once, and he's like, "We'll do White Ave," and I think we did White Ave, and I came back up the road again. Went down the straightaway there. There was no police. The traffic was light. The temperature was okay. And I'm like, I have to warm up the tires. And that's what I did on the way down. I didn't do it through White Ave, but on the way back, I was swerving to warm up the tires. And then going back up Gro Road, I was warming up the tires. Those Formula One driver things where you weave back and forth. And that's what I was doing. We hit the 107th. I was weaving. He's like, "Why are you so wiggly? What's going on? Like, what are you doing?" And I'm like, "Dude, I'm warming up the tires." He's like, "What are you talking about?" And I said, "Look, he asked me to take this car for a drive, and I'm going to, and I'm just warming up the tires." And he's like, "What are you talking about?" And I'm like, "Dude, you'll see." Came back down Gro Road, went around the ring. It's a small, light car. It's super tiny. Like a Honda CRX is like this big, right? And I'm like, okay, so as we were coming down and I'm warming up the tires, I think I was aggressively warming up the tires because it was nighttime as well. But getting used to the road, looking at what was going on, that sort of thing, the traffic, the police. I'm like, okay, so you can hold on there, you can hold on there. And he's like, what? And I'm like, dude, I'm gonna come around this corner here and I'm gonna punch it. He's like, we're gonna do some fast driving. I said, yeah. And he's like, okay, cool. And I said, okay. I thought he knew what he was asking, talking about, sort of thing. Came down around that circle. I think there was a car in the way. But as soon as that car got out of the way, I punched it. And he's like, well, dude, you're going way too fast. I said, nope, car's holding. I think we were 80 kilometers an hour through there. Came out of the circle, punched it down. That little bit of a straightaway where the cops usually hide in the forest. Boom. And I actually backed off He's like, whoa, 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 you're going too fast. I said, no, 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 no. Settle down, settle down. We're going up Gro Road. He said, what? I said, yep. And a lot of this was I was actually trying to see if the how much the back kicked out on it. It's a front wheel drive car. I just wanted to see how much the back would kick out on it on the few drives that I did there, and I had it dialed in actually. So we were doing 140, 150 in the back. I, I was drifting in a front wheel drive car. I didn't really know that at the time. Drifting wasn't a thing. I just knew that these turns, these corners, and how they worked was like skiing. Nothing was smoking. No tires were smoking or anything. And he actually screamed, and he was trying to get as far down in the wheel well as he could. And this is just some little 1.6 liter four banger Japanese car that my friend built. And yeah, I remember looking at the speedometer at some point, and it said 145, and we were in the middle of the turns, and the wheels were kicking out in the back a little bit. And like I could push it more, I could push it more, but I'm like, no, I have a passenger. And we got through that. He was screaming actually, and it's like pull over, pull over, pull over. And so I pulled up the 107th Ave thing, and he kind of his house lived. He lived kind of down there, and I just made my way slowly back there. And he's like, he kind of gave me shit. He's like, you didn't tell me you were going to do this. And I was like, well, no, everybody told you we were going to be doing this. You're the only one who didn't know that we were going to be doing this. And it was kind of good because there was one car at the first bend going up to Gro Road, but after that it was clear. And the road was bumpy and it has the cracks and all of that sort of thing, but the car held well, and like it was spotless. It was spotless. And like I said, like the only time after passing that car I looked at the thing, it said 145, and I went more. I like the throttle was there, the manual transmission was there, steering was there, suspension was there, tires were working, they were warmed up, they were mostly warmed up, probably 75%. I don't know. They did give way a little bit, but they still stuck, and nothing grabbed and pulled me into anything. It was really fun. It was a really good thing. That wasn't the only car. I'm just saying this story because I had an actual passenger at the time, somebody to recognize the actual driving that I was doing, right? And this was a common thing. People would give me their cars to do this kind of thing and then tell me to report back. They'd be like, hey, dude, I just put tires on. I just put suspension. I just put a thing on. And I come back and say, yeah, well, it does this when I do this. And it's blah, blah, blah when I do blah, blah, blah. And I was on this road and I was taking it at this speed and it did this. And they go, okay. And then they go back and fix the car. Or they, do their tuning things, right? And it was interesting. It was an interesting part of my life because I think that more so than name brands and things like people telling me, this is a good car, that's a good car. That taught me. I'm not a tuner. I don't. I'll buy a car I'll buy a car as is and drive it as is. I'm not going to put things on it. I do have things where, oh, I'd like to do this, I'd like to do that, but I never actually do it because I don't want to mess with it. But those people who ask me to drive their cars and report back and give them feedback on what it is and what's going on with the car more than once. Like that was my teenage years. That was my teenage years into my 20s. Yeah. And it was fun. It was fun. And it taught me taught me how much fun cars can be. It taught me how much fun people can make cars. It really does. It really did. It really did. It really did. And I don't really know how to explain that because I have not, other than test drivers for, race companies or manufacturers, I I really haven't met other people who, here's a car, take it for a drive, tell me what you think. And you drive the max out of it and find where the good points and not point the not so good points are. And when I lost the Hornet, I was like, ooh, I lost it. Oh, okay. Well, let's see if we can regain control. Like all of this is happening in like I said, 5 seconds. Like I lost it. Oh, okay. Can we regain control? I've done this before. I actually lost the Atom and I regained control in the Atom. And I'm like, okay, this car is cool. And the same sort of thing happened here with the Hornet. I'm not comparing the two. They're not comparable. No, 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 no. I'm just saying the same process happened. And like, can I regain control? Because when I was sitting in the Atom and the co-pilot there on the first day, he's like, it'll kick out if you do this set speed because they put numbers for the brakes, they put numbers for acceleration, and they tell you over the radio, right? This is an 8, this is a 7, this is a 2, this is a 1. And when you accelerate, hit a 5, hit a whatever. And if you can keep up with that car in front of you, blah, 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 blah. And if you hit it now, you'll lose the rear end. And there was, like, on my second lap going around, he's like, if you hit it now, I remember the first round, he's like, if you hit it now, you'll lose the back end. And we did lose some guy went off course on this, right? And then I did the same thing. I hit it and I hit it, and I was feathering the throttle because the car gave the response. And yeah, I lost it. You got a little bit of oversteer in it, and it locked back up and pounded behind that car, the lead car, right? He's like, if you can keep up, he'll keep going. And I kept pushing it. And we got around the hairpin, and I looked back, and there was nobody behind me. There was nobody behind me. The guy I think it was an M3 in front of me. And we ended up talking after, when we all had our first things there. He's like, dude. So on the next time we went out for laps, I got the same instructor, and he was pushing me to go closer and closer to the walls. And I'm like, dude, no, I have to pay for this if I crash this car. If I take this thing into the wall, I'm not doing it, right? He's like, no, come harder, harder, harder. Get closer to the wall, get closer to the wall. And I'm like, no, 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 no. I got to pay for this. And he was pushing me in the car because I could do the car. And he enjoyed himself. And then he gets out, and then we do our laps, and then we were allowed passing on the second day. People lost the cars. I never lost the car after that first little bit oversteer, feather throttle. Yeah, I didn't. But I was still the fastest, and I'm not, I'm not saying anything about that. It's just what it was. I'm just reporting. Just reporting. It was a fun car, and I was able to do the same thing here in the Hornet with dead tires on it, actually. And I just wanted to, somebody said in the comments, maybe you're a crap driver. And I'm like, yeah, probably I am. I probably am. Like, I'm not a professional driver that way. I'm not a professional race driver. I'm not. I am not. I don't claim to be. I just know people give me cars to test them out. And I've been in some high performance car ish things where I didn't have to crash them. Well, shouldn't say that because there's some that I've spun, some that I, for whatever reason, couldn't get a handle on. For whatever reason, Corvette was one of them. I'm like, what is going on with this car? Straight line speed, and it kicks out, and it spins, and then you try to turn a corner and it spins, and I'm like, what's going on with this car? Who is this made for? Like, you got to be cruising at like 30 kilometers an hour downtown or something. Like, who is this car made for? It's not for me. It's not for me. I wanted the Corvette to be a thing, but it wasn't. Same with the BMW Z something, the Roadster Z4 things, the V8s in them. I'm like, I don't get what's going on with this transmission. Like, what? Who built this car? Who? Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. It just didn't work for me and what was going on, and I'm not sure if anybody else could work it out. Maybe they could. Who knows? Not my cup of tea. Not my cup of tea. But for those, just a little bit of context, not for the naysayers, but for the watchers, for you, for the viewers who keep coming back and want to listen to my stories, who want to listen to my car talks. That gives you a little bit of context of where I'm coming from as a driver, as a car person. Maybe you've done some, maybe you haven't. I don't know. Say something in the comments. My sister knows. She drives a European car now. She used to drive American because her boyfriend, her husband, bought American things. She drives a European car now. She drives that Volvo. And, well, she'll say it in the comments. She loves it. There is something about European cars, and that's what this Hornet is, right? And it drives different than it does. It does drive different than it's not a Dodge. It's not a Dodge. I'll leave it at that. Thank you very much. Appreciate you. This video is getting too long. If you're new, thank you. Please subscribe if you think it's worth it for subscribing. I'm not going to push you into it, but I talk about cars. This is Ryan and Cars. Self-explanatory. Hit a like for liking this, and I'll see you in the next one.